What's going on, everyone? It's Mr. West. I hope you're all well. So welcome to the final part of my iPhone XS Max camera coverage, and today we're going to be taking a look at the camera UI. So you may be thinking, why on earth I do these videos? It's for the benefit of those who are coming across maybe from Android and have never used an iPhone before, and they like taking photos and they just want to see how easy it is to actually navigate through the camera app. So through the video, I'll show you all of the functions of the camera UI, and it will be in a point of view style, so you can see all of the camera app and all of the controls, and be able to see through the viewfinder at the same time as well. So here is the iPhone XS Max camera UI. You'll be very familiar with this if you use an iPhone already, but if you're coming from another manufacturer, this is what you've got to deal with. So we're going to start off in the top left-hand corner of the settings, which is this scene control here. So you've got a number of options, which are basically filters. You've got original, vivid, vivid warm, vivid cool, dramatic, dramatic warm, dramatic cool, mono, silver tone, or noir. Now noir is really classy and it makes it a really good look for your portrait shots or from the front or the back camera. It does look really, really nice. Now to switch that off, you just simply go back to original, just click the globes, and that'll just collapse back off to the right hand side. Underneath that, you've got control for the timers. This is great for group shots, so to make sure everyone's in the shot itself and everyone's smiling and framed correctly. It's got 3 or 10-second intervals for that. Then got the live photo toggle. So what live photo does is that it captures a few frames before the photo is taken, and you get this really cool moving photo. Now in some situations it can lead to some quite comical results, especially if it's a child or a pet who's doing something silly, and it does lead to some really great moments. I'll just give you a demo of how that works now. So if I just keep on talking just like this and just press the shutter button, so if we go into the gallery then, and then we just go back, you can just see a subtle bit of movement, which is cool. I like it. It's a great feature and it can be toggled on or off. Just leave it on, but in some situations you may need to switch that off just to make sure you get the right shot every time. So you then got the flash there, which is auto on or off. Now if you're using a front facing camera, you've got this set to on. It actually lights up the display like that and allows you to light up the area so you don't get blurry and grainy dark photos, which is a cool addition. Lots of new phones do it, but I believe Apple's the first one to actually try that one out. To correct me if I'm wrong. So before we look at the carousels, we've then got the toggle for the front or rear cameras. We've got the shutter button, and we've also got the gallery option there as well. You can just see how quick and fluid the iPhone XS Max is going through these menus. It's really, really capable. And as with most iPhones, you can just press and hold the shutter button and just get basically an unlimited amount of burst photos, which is absolutely crazy. If you then go into the menu, just find our burst photos at the end here. So if you click on select, that then allows you to select through the photos, or you can just do the carousel at the bottom. You can just see the movement, allows you to just capture the moment that you want to get the shot from. So that's a really cool addition. So just off to the left of the carousel, you've then got the ×2 optical zoom option. Now you can pinch to zoom, and you can get up to 10 times digital zoom. Well, it's 8 times digital zoom, beg your pardon. So it's 2 times optical, and then the rest is all digital. Now obviously you can see it's very, very grainy and is only on a needs must basis if you really need to get something that far away, but the optical zoom is really handy to have, and I'll show you a bit more of that in a moment. So starting with the carousel then, it's got the panorama option. So this does things in portrait mode, so we'll just grab a panorama and you can show it, you can see it live in action. So just keep the phone steady and just keep the center line lined up with the point of that arrow. Now with the iPhone, it makes it very, very easy to get a panorama. It's not that tricky at all, and as you can see, the results are great. It has messed up a bit on the top left hand corner there. That was my fault, not the phone's. But if we just look at stitching, perfect across the whole image. There's nothing out of place there. It looks really, really good. It's extremely high resolution, great for canvases, for example. But you get the idea. That is how that works. Now you can also do vertical panoramas as well. Now from the iPhone X, XS Max and the XS, Apple has improved the algorithm for vertical panoramas, in that the exposure is now much more uniform and also the autofocus at the same time. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration. Just hold the phone steady and just move to make sure that that arrow is lined up in the center correctly. I won't go all the way around because I'll probably tip over. I will stop the panorama there. And that is basically how it looks. You can basically just crop in to get rid of those edges there, but you can see it just adds a really cool dimension to your vertical photos, loads of height, and the scale looks really, really cool. So that's a great addition and a great option to have as well. So they've got square, so this is good for social sharing, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, etc. 2x zoom also works, and also the digital zoom as well, which is great. We've got the portrait mode, so we'll just give you a demonstration of this live. So that's close enough, but if we just show you there, the phone will give you a guide to move closer. So I'll just look in the camera, and you've got that great blur in the background at the same time. You go into edit and you can then change the intensity of the blur using the slider. You've then got the crop control over scene modes, even more options for editing the photo, for example light, color and black and white. You've got this option here which has got a marker tool. You just pick a pen, squiggle all over the screen, which is cool, write silly notes to people. And then in more, you've got options to share to your favorite photo editing suite as well. They've got this little wand in the corner that automatically adjusts for best saturation, color, contrast, etc., which is a great addition to have. You've then got the stage lighting, so you can then do it after the fact, which is cool. So we've got natural light, studio light, contour light, stage light and stage light mono. It does take a bit of perseverance because at the moment it looks like my ears have been amputated, but you get the idea. It does take some perseverance and you can get some really great results. Any photos that I've taken with the portrait mode are included in the photo album in the description, so you can see those at your own leisure, and you can also download them as well and edit them as you wish, should you want to. So then under that then we've got the photo mode, so this is obviously the classic mode. So we've got this subject by here, so I'll just show you the focus. So you can just see there, it just gets a really quick focus on the subject, and because it uses optical zoom you can get in really closer to that without losing any focus or detail, which is fantastic, really good. Obviously you can use the digital zoom as well, but I just prefer to use the optical zoom to get a good frame there at the same time. And as for exposure, you can just see as we move the phone around, it automatically adjusts for the best conditions. And again, nice contrasty photos. Those clouds there is going to absolutely tip it down at some point over the weekend. But you can just see, just moving around the scene now, if we just get a photo of that house and zoom in. It's just such an easy camera system to use. Very capable, and the images are just great. Just get a picture of those horses there and include these in the album at the end. We've then got video. So we're currently in HD at 60 frames per second, so it's 1080p. We'll just give you a quick demo of the image stabilization. So it's electronic image stabilization with anything up to 4K at 30 frames per second. And then once you get to 4K at 60, it then reverts to optical image stabilization, which still isn't too bad. At the top of the screen, you'll see a link to my ultimate iPhone XS Max camera test video, which shows you a showcase of all of the different modes on the video camera, which is very good indeed. You also get electronic image stabilization from the front cameras as well, and again they are included in the ultimate camera test video. So you've then got slow-mo, so you've got 1080p at 120 frames per second and 1080p at 240 frames per second. You've also got the time-lapse option, so the optical and digital zoom work for this. So it's well worth using a tripod for the time-lapse option so you get the best result from the final image. Now, one small thing which did frustrate me a little bit when I started using the phone was the fact that the camera settings are buried in the main phone settings. So if we just go down the list here, they're all here. So you've got preserve settings, so you've got the camera modes, which you can preserve the last camera mode, such as video square rather than automatically reset to photo. Preserve the last used filter, light or depth setting rather than automatically reset. And reserve the live photo setting rather than automatically reset to live photo turned on. So basically that keeps everything locked to the same settings when you switch the camera off, rather than you having to go back to the setting that you use the most. Then got control over the camera grid, so that allows you to align to your horizon line. Scan QR codes from within the app, which is really handy rather than a third-party app. Got your video resolution mode, so all the way from 720 HD at 30 FPS all the way up to 4K at 60 frames per second. And you've then got a little info card at the bottom there, which tells you how much memory they take up at what different resolution. You've got an option to lock the camera, which is really cool. That allows you to stop accidental switching between the front and rear cameras. Great if you give your phone to your kids or somebody who's not very good with camera phones, so it's really cool to have that option. Then got the record slow-mo option, stereo sound recordings. You can toggle that to mono or stereo. It's a bit gargly with the noise cancellation, but that's something which can be fixed with a software update. They've got all the different formats. I say all, we've only got two. You've got high efficiency and most compatible. So high efficiency allows you to record in HEVC format. It's not the most compatible with some video editors, but it's a really cool format to have because it allows you smaller file sizes but still the same quality. And then you've got most compatible, which is H.264. And at the bottom there, then we've got Smart HDR, which is currently set to on. I would suggest you leave that on all the time, and then keep a normal photo. So when you take a HDR image, you can also keep a normal copy of the image for comparison purposes as well. So that is basically how you access the camera settings. So if we go back, and that is it. That is what the camera UI looks like on the iPhone XS Max. It's a tremendously capable camera and really, really simple to use at the same time as well. So that's the end of my camera UI walkthrough for the iPhone XS Max. And as I said at the start of the video, this also applies to the iPhone XS as well, because they use the same software and the same cameras. I would give the iPhone XS Max a solid 9 out of 10. I've only deducted a mark because Apple doesn't allow any manual controls for the camera. I do appreciate that's not for everybody, but if you want to get really good focus lock on a subject, the manual slider control for manual focus is very, very handy. Also as well, the settings for the camera being buried off into the main settings for the phone is a little bit fiddly, but as you can see there's not a huge amount of options anyway that you're going to miss. But it would have been nice to have a toggle for video resolution. So OnePlus, for example, put the video resolution off onto the left hand side of the menu. If you click on it, you can just choose the video resolution, so it would be handy to see that. There's room for it and it would be really, really cool. A Siri shortcut I think would also be good. That's one of the great things about the iPhone XS Max, but those are things which can all be improved in software updates and they're not really a deal breaker. So it's just basically, I'm deducting a mark basically for that because it's a camera experience. It's not just about the photos, it's how easy the phone is to use and how easy it is to get around and get the features and the settings that you need. But apart from that, the iPhone XS Max has a stupendously good camera, really, really good. I really don't see what some people's fuss is about. Some people saying it's not as good as last year's camera. I think this phone takes excellent photos. If you're going to go pixel peeping, you'll still see great detail, even into the farthest reaches. So it's a great camera. It does really, really well. So if this is your first time on here, please consider subscribing. I upload videos every single week. And I've got some really cool phones coming for camera tests, the Nokia 6.1 Plus, the Nokia 7.1 Plus, and also the Pixel 3 or Pixel 3 XL, depending on what I can get my hands on. So it'd be great to put those through their paces and see just how good they are with their photo and video recording abilities. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you've got any questions or comments, please leave those down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But for now, thank you very much for watching everyone. My name is Mr. West, and I'll catch you guys later.